Welcome back. This is the Rotten Raven. Today we're discussing Diablo 3, Season 36. It starts on September 12th at 5 p.m. Pacific, CST, KST. Today is Saturday, September 6th, and the season's still ongoing, so that means the season's going to end on Sunday, September 7th, at the same time the season will start, so at 5 p.m. Pacific, CST, KST. It's 8 p.m. Eastern for us US people. Um, you can figure out between California and like New York time based on your time zone. Uh, so the season theme is going to be Soul Shards. It was first seen as Season 25. You can embrace evil by infusing yourself with the essences of Hell's Lords using Soul Shards. Embark on your season journey to discover and upgrade demonic season shards based on the seven lords of hell. By embodying a prime and lesser evil, you will reflect new forms of pain and suffering on the demons of Sanctuary. We can't wait for you to get your hands on soul shards and start unlocking your true power. I guess I should read this. Nephium can find 7 unique soul shards based on the 7 lords of hell, which give you new demonic powers. One of 3 prime evil soul shards can be equipped in the helms, and one of 4 lesser evil soul shards can be equipped in the weapons. Each soul shard can be upgraded 3 times using a new seasonal exclusive consumable, the Hellforged Ember. Hellforged Ember, soul shards can drop below level 70, but Hellforged Ember, as far as I know, only drop when you're 70. And if you have troubles getting them, I guess from a previous season, some people had problems. You have to do level 70 solo. I don't think that's required, but if you have issues, they say do that, which unlocks primals, right? Level 70 solo, and it will definitely make sure you can get Hellforged Embers. Soul Shards and Hellfire Embers can drop from anywhere in Sanctuary, but Soul Shards have a higher chance to drop from bosses, aka, Skeleton King, Magda, Zone Cool. But bosses also mean greater rift bosses, because they call them bosses. Not elites, bosses. Soul Shards cannot be traded, so people think, hey, help me. I haven't gotten Soul Shard, or it would be very unlikely, but the Hellforged Ember, you cannot trade them, but can be salvaged. This is going to be key, or utilized and counted as a spare. You may only equip 1 Prime Evil Soul Shard and 1 Lesser Evil Soul Shard at a time. So remember, the one has 3 you can possibly use, and the one has 4. So one's a helm, so you can only have 1 helm. But say the weapon, some people like demon hunters can have, 2 one-handed crossbows or whatever they're called. You can only put 1 in a weapon. I think it will tell you that the other item cannot be equipped. And you go, what? It's because you have a soul shard in it. Lastly, soul shards and Hellfire Embers only drop in seasonal play. So once again, this is a season-only item, and will not transfer to your non-season character when the season ends. Keep reading for a look into capabilities for each of the soul shard powers. So it's saying at the end of the season, what will happen is embers go poof, regardless of your stash or inventory. If you use it for a columns to spare, like with the soul shard, that will stay on the weapon. But the item socketed in the weapon or helm will go poof. Goes away. But you get to keep the weapon or helm or whatever still, but the soul shard or ember goes away. So make sure by the end of the season that you use your Hellforged Embers and your soul shards before they go away. And we'll get to what these can be used for later. I kind of mentioned it here. There's different ones. Prime, if you read Prime, Prime is Helm. Silver Terror, I'm not going to go line by line for all of these. Your cooldowns are increased by 25%. For every skill and cooldown, you take 12.5% reduced damage and deal 12.5 increased damage. Additional powers. So at level 0, you have this base power. At level 1, they don't really go into this. At level 1, it increases main stat. Level 2 does something else. And then at level 3, which is max level, you get one of 3 powers. And I think some of them might have a role it can have. So either on this one, your attack speed and crit chance are increased by 5% for each skill and cooldown. Yeah, it kind of sucks. You cast a devastating ring of fire after killing 100 enemies. This is what most people's going to want. It's a ring of fire that goes, it goes away from you. And what is good about this is if you group up your enemies and the ring of fire goes off, that ring of fire will help count towards the next ring of fire when it kills an enemy. So the bigger the pool of enemies, the more likely you get multiple rings of fire going off, which is useful, I guess, for GR 150, that apparently one ring of fire can take down a blue. Okay, the karma pie. But it might take 3 rings of fire to take down a yellow, from what I read. I don't go that high, so but so at lower levels, 1 ring or 2 rings of fire might take out a yellow or the Rift Guardian. I'm not sure, they didn't really specify in Rift Guardians themselves. If 3 or more skills are on cooldown, your lightning and fire skill damage are increased by 50%. So if you get this one for a class that uses lightning or fire, that's going to be a big help. Start of Haedrig, your base is you deal 15% reduced damage while you have 3 or fewer enemies within 25 yards. But you usually, unless you're like Demon Hunter or something, you're killing from a distance. If more than 3 enemies are within the same distance, you deal 5% increased damage per enemy to a maximum of 50%. Okay, I think this stacks. Additional power, you can kill elite enemy pools, all enemies within 40 yards to where the elite died. So that negates the having 3 or less. Your movement speed increased by 50%. Each enemy within 25 yards reduces your movement speed by 10% up to 70%. You now deal 10% increased damage for every enemy instead of 5% to a maximum of 100%. So this one obviously stacks. Fragment of Destruction. Base power. You move unhindered through enemies. Each enemy you pass through receives 1 mark of destruction for 7 seconds. Each marked enemy that dies removes 1 second from one of your skills on cooldown. If the mark of destruction expires before the enemy dies, you lose 2% of your maximum health as damage. Marks are not applied if you lose 35% health. This one's not hardcore friendly because it, just like if you're using blood skills with a necro, but we get low, you have a possibility of being defeated, and then hardcore, of course, is permanent death. There's a reason for this. I think I would say what this does, it procs basically CC. So the more an enemy is given CC, crowd control, that they become immune to it. So if this is going off, pretty much if you mark the same enemy more than once or not, I think you can, if it aspires. But then you took damage because it aspired. It's not good, my opinion. Additional powers. You have a 25% chance to restore 5% health when an enemy dies with a mark of destruction active. I don't like this 25% chance. Unless you get it. So there's a chance you don't get it, right? You have a 1 in 4 chance to get it. But is that piece per enemy? When you apply a mark of destruction to an enemy, you increase your movement speed by 5% for 7 seconds. Max 10 stacks. So that'd be 50% then, right? You now leave a trail of fire in your wake that slays enemies with mark of destruction and are below 10% health. Remember, this is 1 in 3. When you upgrade it to level 3, you're getting one of these 3 powers. Lesser Evil. Stain of Sin. you do 20% less damage. When you kill 50 enemies, you spawn a bowl of blood that increases the damage done to elite enemies by 150% in the last 15 seconds. It's not bad. Once again, additional powers, 1 to 3. You're going to get one of these 3 powers. The pool of blood now negates elite FXs within the area. I'm pretty sure that means like the beams and stuff, but I'm not positive. I know it's definitely the other buffs they give. You gain additional Rift Progress Orb when you kill an elite pack. This is really good. So with the altar, you get one additional one, and then this gives you another additional one. So, for example, when you is it blues that give 3? The altar give you additional one for basically a 4th one. This will give you a 5th one, so that makes speed farming a lot quicker. The pool of blood now collects Rift Progress Orbs. With the altar collecting within a radius, and what is it? The gold thing has been changed for upgrading it. That it increases your area for collecting stuff like what do they call them? The blood bottles, the health bottle things you get. And I think it collects Rift and Greater Rift Progress Orbs. Dragon Goliath. This is going to be a common one from a lot of people. Base power. You deal 25% less damage. Your pets deal 25% increased damage. So this is for pet pills like Necro with their skeletons or skeleton mage. You're going to do less damage, but your pets are going to do 25% increased damage. And for the caveat here is, I don't know the caveat, but remember your pets and a lot of your skills are based off your weapon damage. It is still applied to your pets and your skills. So your pets will still do basically 125, right? Whatever your 100% plus 25 of your weapon damage. It's just if you try to do damage, like physical attack or stuff like, for example, like getting your hatred or your fury or whatever. Those attacks usually, like you said, the ones that you gain resources back or whatever, those things will be you're doing less damage. So this is good for pet builds. And remember, if you're a demon hunter marauder, as an example, turrets, the little arrows that are stationary, ballistas, whatever, those are considered pets, the same as your wolf, boar, whatever. Those do more damage. Now, I don't know, like when the wolf howls, whether that gets 25% increased damage or just them attacking, they do more damage. Like with necros, with skeletons, they have physical sword attacks that they will do 25% more damage per hit. Not including what's the skill they use where you make them go to elite and they have like a fairy or something and they do more damage. All right, 1 to 3 additional powers. Kill an elite enemy reduces all your active cooldowns by 5 seconds. So this is good. Receiving fatal damage, spawn a shadow that presents your death, blah, blah, blah. That one sucks. Unless you're hardcore, maybe. I'm not going to read all that. The shadow lasts 15 seconds. Each time your pet hits an enemy, your damage is increased by 0.5% for 5 seconds. This stacks up to 100 times. So we're... 10 would be 50, or 5, so it'll be 50%. When you reach 100 stacks, the set quickly resets to 0. It's kind of like, I forget the name of it, shenanigans, like monk, like you use, I forget what they call their resource, but like you do more damage as you're hitting, but as soon as you get the 100 stacks, it goes away, but normally by then, like there's an explosion or something that defeats a lot of enemies really quickly. Remnant of Pain, base power. Your critical hit chance is reduced by 15%. Your attacks against incapacitated enemies automatically critical hits. People are going to ask what incapacitated means. I know on some skills like was it Barb or Crusader, blind, basically CC effects. If you blind, slow, that kind of thing. this will proc it. So I think Bane of the Trap, so that will help with this. That's I believe, I'm not positive. Additional powers. Hitting enemies with cold damage has a 50% chance to freeze them. Sorry, low cars. Cold skill damage is increased to frozen targets by 20%. So there's a caveat on this one. Hitting enemies with cold damage. If you have a skill with, basically you're gonna have cold. There's something about this that you need cold damage rolled on your weapon. You know, it's like say it's, I don't know, 1,000 to 1,200 damage. You need to say cold damage. Just like one later is going to say you have to poison damage right below this. Um, but in order for the cold skill damage is increased to frozen target by 20%, you actually have to use a cold skill for this part. So just rolling froze or cold on a weapon won't give you this unless you actually use a skill that's cold based. And most people is using lightning fire, so I don't know. There's certain use cases that would benefit from this. Gain passability while your movement speed bonus is over 50%. When you move through enemies, you knock them back and stun them for 2 seconds. So once again, this is a CC, and the more you apply CC to the same monster, enemy, whatever you want to call it, they get immune to it. Especially like elites, Rift Guardians and stuff, they're definitely good at some are immune right from the get-go. So you gotta keep that in mind too if you're using this for Rift Guardians and stuff. When you critically hit an enemy, you increase the attack speed of all players by 5% for 5 seconds, max 10 seconds. This might be good if you're playing in group. If you're solo, that sucked. But I'm assuming you're getting it too. SF Anguish, oh good. Base power. Every time you do poison damage to an enemy, you increase your cooldown reduction and movement speed by 2.5%, while your damage received is increased by 5% for 10 seconds, max 10 stacks. So once again, unless you're a Necro, there's some classes that have poison skills. If you don't, you have to, like as the cold one, you have to make poison on your weapon as a primary. So you can't say if it says 1 to 1,200 lightning, it's not going to work. You have to have poison. So a lot of times when you're rolling it, you get a lesser roll, say I don't know, some number, 800 to 1,000 or something, poison. So you have that risk when you roll that. Plus you want to roll other things, usually like 10% damage and stuff like that. That unless it comes naturally, it's kind of a waste. Unless everything else rolled everything you want. One of 3 additional powers, your movement speed and cooldown reduction can be increased by up to 15 times by doing poison damage to an enemy. I'm pretty sure this comes from your weapon. When you do a poison damage to an enemy that receives 50% increased poison damage from all sources for 10 seconds. So this is skill. Killing an enemy deals the damage done by the death blow to all enemies within 25 yards. So as you defeat an enemy, the enemies that are around it, it's kind of like what is it, the mark of, is it destruction or something that the demon hunter has? I forget what it's called. Like it will spread, it will hurt the ones around it, and if that one happens to be defeated, say it was low on health, it will trigger the next one around them. If not, it stops. So usually you damage below 50%, I believe, on the other enemies, but sometimes it's not enough to actually defeat the enemy. Alright, we'll go into more of this in a minute. Season cosmetic rewards. Obviously you get the, I forget what they always call it, Conqueror set. You get the chest and glove. You get the portrait theme from High Heavens, and then cosmetic wings. Return of, I'm gonna butcher this, Flaclaw Gear, which gives you a character a distinctive angelic look. So, and it's kind of like the Falcon wings, but you can't get in the game no more, only from season. Blah blah blah. And then here's the relive Ethereal Memory and complete the Season 36 Guardian Journey to earn the Terror Resurrected Portrait and the Lesser Mummy Pet. And I'll show you in a minute. Oh, I can probably show you now if that game's still going. Oh, there, yeah. I might have to pause and I know it's going to make me log back in. Well, you can see here. There's a portrait frame, and then there's the pet. So we already have it. That sucked up. So I'll show you something. Oh, you probably seen the time. I'm doing it last night, but things happened. All right. So with this season 3 rewards. So this is the one before Guardian. This is what unlocks your stash tabs. Remember in stash tabs, if you don't have all 13 stash tabs, that you get 3, right? You have some from having the Reaper of Souls, you get some from having the Necro Pack, you have additional ones that you can earn. It says a maximum of 5, but you have a total of 13, because I know some were given to you free, like Haven Reaper of Souls give you 3 more, Necro I think gives you 2, I'm not sure the exact numbers, but then you can earn 5, so that adds up to 13. My point was that if you play like regular softcore season, right, and you do this and you get your stash tab, you can still go, and I'm pretty sure it's all the game modes in season, that you go to solo season, which they just call it, it depends. In the menu, they just call it solo, but in the game, which I was just on, they call it solo seasonal. I think you can earn it again. Because the season journeys tracked separately. If the season journey example on hardcore season is the same season journey as softcore season, right? Softcore's normal, that you can be defeated and you can revive. Where hardcore, permanent death. That season journey's tracked together. I don't know if that works or not. I have not found any information on that. I already have my stash tab, so I can't, find out. So, but I know if you go like season or solo hardcore, which is different than the season softcore season and the season solo, which is basically softcore. That is tracked separately, and I believe you can get it again. But I said they got it, and they say season softcore and versus solo season, even though because those are different season journeys. Because remember the solo or softcore season and hardcore season season hardcore share the same journey, so it's a different game mode because the way it tracks. There's all the thing there. I did a thing about how do you get multiple primals. Last season or this season, I was able to get a well, not on this account, but my other account, primal on all 4 game modes, which was fun. But supposedly, from what I said before, that shouldn't have happened. So maybe I lucked out and they gave me one. I don't know. I should have got one from the. Remember, like I said, it's solo season, softcore, and see, hardcore season is tracked differently for primal. So solo season, which is basically softcore solo mode, and regular softcore season, the primal should have been tracked the same. So I got one. I don't know how. So basically, you do the stuff here. The key here is to kill the queen on tournament 13 under 30 seconds. The queen's not bad. Basically, if you're basically able to do P16, this won't be bad. I have had it where you do so much damage to her, she escapes in her tunnel, some lesser ones come out, and then she comes back out. I've had that come out 2 or 3 times and still got the achievement. It all depends, like, I think on the tournament level, how fast she comes back out. And I want to say on T16 she comes back out faster, that you're able to get it. At least one time go in her cave, when she comes back out, if you do it then, you should get this achievement. If not, close the game, create a new one, try again. Just a run. Seasonal Conquest. Now I'm going to zoom in, so I don't know, hope it doesn't affect my other tabs I have open. So remember, you have to do, for the season Guardian, you have to do 3 conquests. So remember, you can do any of these, and you can do. Remember, there's a softcore variant and a hardcore variant. You can always go to hardcore and do that variant too. For example, easy one here is level 3 gems is level 65, right? And then you do that again in hardcore. I think push 65, 70 T15, so it's at T14. But you have to be 10 above to get level 65, so yeah, you're probably doing a GR 70, 75 to get this. Yeah, you have to do 75 to get 65 to get at least 1 upgrade. So, yeah, so it might be, if you're not a hardcore player, it might not be the best. Boss mode. Defeat all the bosses on Torment 10 or higher within 20 minutes of the start of the game. There's 2 things on this. You do not have to defeat Lydian, which was a new boss added after these were said. So they never updated it. And 20 minutes start of the game is when you create a game. I count the loading time too. That it starts right from then. And then remember, some bosses, which is what I was going to show you in the game, was, I don't know if it was going to show me now. They're hard. I always start with Act 5 and work my way down to Act 1. Remember, Mathau has a long death animation. Urzil is hard to find. That's why I was keeping it, because the game had Urzil. Oh, it has it? Oh, no, it has Death Embrace. So it'd be nice if there was a boss Donnie, because that way you can find him. Because remember, he's usually in the middle of the map. However, your waypoint might be down here, and you have all this to go, and it's like a maze, and some have dead ends, and you have to kind of know what it looks like, where he's at, and sometimes it's easy to miss if there's other things right by it, like there's a staircase going down like to a sewer or something, that it takes it away, like, oh, it's not there, but it could be. Runes of Corridors, Haedrig. Hey, like this one's a good one to have for the bounty, because remember, this is like the dungeon keep underground thing, and you have doors to go through, and you have the little minions, which is good for Avarice, which is the 50 million ghost streak. I don't think we have this season, but it's a maze, and sometimes you think you're going the right way, it's a long dead end, or at least to another event in it. It just makes it a pain. So, like example, you see there's 3 bosses. You have Mathau, which is pretty easy to get to, because as long as you go from the waypoint, starts towards the end, and you work back left and up. But you have the long death animation. Urzo, he cheats in the middle. Remember, he's immune, and you can't damage him. Even if you have torch or something out, they don't damage him. Your Templar follower won't damage him, can't damage him. Sometimes they stop now. And Urzo, and then I'll go 4. Right. Izzo can be pain. Same with Diablo. Remember, Diablo has like 3 stages of the fight. Ragnarok's easy. You just go and keep going left. When you go in, you go up and then left. At least the path on that. But there's some zigzagging in the middle. Like you have to know, but you have to go up or down, where it meets back in the middle again. Because one's like top is a dead end. But yeah, so you gotta go bottom. The next one, I think you gotta go top, because bottom's a dead end. So you have to kind of know the map. So sometimes it takes practice to do it. And obviously you need a fast character. Group's easier, as I say, because you have to learn not to use your town portal. For example, say I find the boss, I hit M and then hit town, and then, for example, if I'm joining another player, I would hit town, but then when I join them, remember when for example, say they went to Skeleton King. When I leave Skeleton King, I cannot hit my town portal, because I'll lose my portal that was at the other boss. I have to hit M and then go to town. And then when I go back to town, I'll have my portal. I'll run into my portal to go back into it, and then they'll join me. They can just right-click, join player. They don't even have to even go to town if they don't want to. Whoever's going to the next one has to go to town to use your portal. I didn't want to do that. And once again, that's in hardcore and softcore. Reach level 60 up. Reach greater with level 45 solo without any set items equipped. And the same thing for hardcore. So that means you cannot have green. So you can't have the lit green, the legacy, whatever the rings are called. I know Wailing Host and the lit ring, they're green rings. You can't use that. If you're like the wizard and you're using Blackthorn, or what's the other one, the paint you guys use that has element damage on it, you cannot have any green pieces equipped at all. Not even your weapons or offhand. You can't use Sage. You can't use Child. You can't use what's the Helm Embracer Guardian. You can't use any green pieces at all. You still can get achievement that's not a conquest for doing a 45 solo. I think up to 55, I believe, but you won't get this specific conquest. Curses kill 350 or more monsters in a cursed chest event at level 70 on Torment 10 difficulty or higher. Obviously, Cursed Pete in Chapter 5. I was there. So that's Path of the Drowned. You find it, it's like King of the Hill event. It looks the same, except for the King of the Hill event. If you have an elite at the very bottom, he jumps up. That's not, it's the same staircase like temple, but it's a wrong event. You have to find the same one without the jumping elite. And I think that's called King of the Hill or something like that. That's the wrong one, but it's the same, temple template. There's supposed to be a key, like if you're going, sometimes it's right by the waypoint, sometimes it's like way off on an edge somewhere. It's a big one, so I think you can only, is it 2 big events, and you have like a couple smaller ones, that if you get that, you cannot get King of the Hill, or not King of the Hill, you won't get King of the Hill or Cursed Pete. Because how big they are is to make the map not as big or something. And sometimes the map is huge and sometimes it's pretty small. Like it goes up and down and you have up the right, because there's a where is it? One of them, something else goes to it. It's like the blood gate or blood crypt or something comes out on that. I forget what it's called. But it's like it has a door, and you'll know because the zone will change. When the zone changes from Path of the Drowned to something else, it's not it. All right. And go back through, obviously, you all your bosses. And so there's a couple one. There's the Cursed Chapel or something in Act 1. You use the waypoint where the Dark Nutrisum event's at, and then just run backwards. It's faster than running from town. But there's an elite that spawns at the end, so sometimes it's not hardcore friendly. Years of War. Reach Grey with level 55 solo with the full bonuses of 6 of the following class sets. And then you have this in hardcore. You cannot do 3 of them, or whatever number you're doing in softcore, and then the remaining in hardcore. I'm gonna say 3 and 3 or 4 and 2. It will not. There's our tracks separately, so you have to do all 6. So because of the 6 of the following class sets, well, remember, that's it. There's 4 class sets that I count, and the new one, which I think is the 5th one, does not count for this achievement unless they fixed it. Just like they don't have a set dungeon for it on the new set, like Valor for Crusader, for example. I don't know if I can't remember if it counts it or not. So either way, if it's not 4, it's 5. You still have 1 more or 2 more to do. So you have to have a second class, I should say. You can't have 2 Crusaders; it won't work. You have to have a Crusader and something else, or Necro. For example, me probably Necro and Crusader. So that's it. So what's the easiest one? If you're good at practice, boss mode is pretty good. Level 65 you're going to get if you're doing Season Journey, because you have to get to level 70 anyways. There's a thing with this. If you happen to do Screams, I forget what's the name of they call it, the Echoing Nightmares, that when you get a gem, and if it's higher than level 65, it will count. If it does not count right away, as soon as you upgrade a normal legendary gem, well, let's just say the difference between normal and legendary. A legendary gem, the one that has a power like Bane of the Trap, Bane of the Powerful, that it will then give credit for that Whisper of Atonement you got from doing the Echoing Nightmare. but it won't count it though if it's not level, at least at level 65. Um, but remember when you get one, if you don't, because a lot of people, for example, the highest you can get is 125 in Echoing Nightmare, even to get to 150 wave, that you could still upgrade it by doing regular or greater rifts. You can always upgrade it then if you play that high. Most people would take the free 125 because it's not that bad, especially in a group. It sucks to take away the shield, but between conduit and which using flavor at a time, so it lasts longer, it makes it not as bad. So this one, Gems of 65 is gonna be good. Boss mode is gonna be good. 45 solo. I'm gonna go into the game again. I believe that's Torment 12. It's over here. There's the reason why I'm in the game. So 45 is, yeah, this character sucks. I deleted the other one. I had to redo stuff to get for this video. 45 is Torment 10. So long as you're able to do Torment 10, you should be good. Okay. Some other things to talk about. Oh, Haedrig's Gift. This is, I gotta zoom back out a little bit so you can see everything. I want to go to the other website so you can actually see what the class sets are. Here, thank you, maxrow.gg. In case you don't know that site, it has a lot of information, different things, leveling guides. And then when the season starts, or maybe right before it starts, they'll actually have a tier list, which one's the best. A lot of these are not the best, but they're great starter sets to get you to the set to do your, the higher, greater lift levels for pushing. So Barbarian gets Immortal King's Call, which call the Ancient lasts until they die. I forgot, I thought it was an item you had to get, but that's what it is. Reduce cooldown Wrath of Berserker and Call the Ancient by 3 seconds for every 10 Fury you spend with an attack. So the cooldown, I know on this one, that to reduce the Wrath of Berserker, or basically, that's the main one, right? Because Wrath of Berserker, you're going to pick Prophet? Is that Crusader? It's called Prophet. Yeah, that's Crusader. Wrath of Berserker, that you spend Fury, and it reduces it every time you spend at least 10 Fury. So a lot of times you're going to have your Fury up, you're going to cast, after you cast, your Wrath of Berserker or Call of the Ancients, which is usually about the same time. Wrath of Berserker has a longer cooldown though, but there's something that you can get to make it less. That you just spend Fury, so it goes back. So obviously you want to keep in Wrath of Berserker because that's your damage reduction and it does more damage. You want to keep spending Fury to get it back, to cast it again, and then cast your Fury again. Because when you're damaging with Wrath of Berserker, you normally get your Fury back. And then while both Wrath of Berserker and Call of the Ancients are active, you do 4,000% increased damage. That's what I was mentioning. Most of the time you try to get it so they're both on cooldown at the same time and they're off the cooldown, so you proc them both. Just because of the extra 4,000% increased damage. Plus, Wrath of Berserker does damage, and Call of the Ancients, of course, they're pets, right? Companions, what you want to call them, your summons, who do damage, but they're considered pets, right? Everything that you can summon or follow. I've been even told followers, like your Enchantress, Templar, and stuff, are considered pets. But I'm not sure if everything applies to them, because the way how they change how gear and stuff works on them might not work 100%, but they do get buffed for being pets. Crusader, Secret of Light, sample Crusader, using Blessed Hammer. I know there's one for leveling Blessed Hammer, and it's pretty good, but as end game, it's not the best. Blessed Hammer that hits an enemy reduces the cooldown of Fallen Sword, which you go up in the sky and come back down, and Provoke, which it's like a shout that you make them attack you by 1 second. For a set, you take 50% less damage for 8 seconds after landing with Fallen Sword. So when you come down, you take less damage, and then of course you start hitting to get your stuff back, so you get your skill stuff back off cooldown. Remember, this is not including any soul shard stuff that might make things faster. And then 6th set is increased damage of Blessed Hammer by, I think that's 15,000%, and Fallen Sword by 1,000%. So your blast hammer does a lot of damage. But I know the casting with that. I think it's was that Fury? It takes a lot. Natalia's Vengeance. I'm not a big fan of it. It's the Spike Trap build. Spike Trap deal 1000 increased damage to enemies affected by Cow Trap. Spike Trap now instantly refreshes charges on use. No longer costs resources, and each detonation restores 2 discipline. Basically, you vault whatever to an enemy. You cast Spike Trap, but you're standing still. You throw. So there's a thing with part of Marauder and stuff. So you have the Guardian turret, the Frozen turret, so they freeze and whatnot, which helps with the Soul Shards. I'm pretty sure that would be a nice uh, work together well, whatever that word is. Um, uh, and then, of course, Spike Trap Explosion will blast affected enemies towards an air set Cow Trap. Laying a Spike Trap grants 75% damage reduction. The duration of this bonus is always equal to the number of already laid traps in seconds. So if something goes off before it procs, it won't count those traps. Spike Trap deals 10,000% increased damage, and each consecutive explosion from the detonated chain reaction will deal 25% more damage than the previous blast. So it's as scales, it gets bigger and bigger, higher damage. Of course, I want to be here. Someone's trying to mow now. Hunk. Every third hit of your spinner generator applies exploding palm. Your 7/7 strike deals 777% its total damage with each hit. All damage taken is reduced by 77% for 7 seconds after applying exploding palm to an enemy. Increase the damage of your exploding palm by 12,500%, and your 7/7 strike detonates your exploding palm. Alright, Necromancer Track Goals, which to me is like the best starting set. I think it's pretty good. Some people like flyers. Blood Rush and Siphon Blood gains effect of every run. Your life spending abilities no longer cost essence. While at full life, your healing from skills is added to your maximum life for 45 seconds, up to 300% more. Set your life spending abilities deal 6,250% increased damage, and your healing from skills is increased by 100%. There's a lot of here. The Soul Shards, it's gonna make this bigger. I'll show you in a minute, but I just want to show you. Remember, Soul Shards was originally introduced in season 25. Track rules: Iron Rose and Funerary Pick. Like Funerary Pick is like you siphon from 2 additional enemies or 2 enemies, and then Iron Blood gives you a free Blood Nova. Iron Rose gives you a free Blood Nova. That was changed in season 27. Not a Necro or Crusader player. I used to be Demon Hunter. I started off as a Barbarian, just so in case you want to know. So look at season 30, as my point. Look at season 30 leaderboards, which has Soul Shards. That's what you're going to look at, because that's where things change, and some of the meta might have been affected by that. Witch Doctor. Well, Tranquils is basically life spending abilities, blah blah blah, do damage. Which that's the one. So that's the one that gets scary, because as you use your blood, it's using your health, right? And you take damage without an enemy even hitting you. So that's why some of the other ones, it's nice that you get healing from the Soul Shards. Witch Doctor, Spirit of Ankar, summon a permanent Spider Queen, which I believe is considered a pet. Just like your fetish golems or fetish, whatever they're called. The little guys, or pets, they're summoned, right? Like the Spider Queen, I'm gonna go through all this. Basically, 6 set is your damage of your creature skills increased by 11,500%. Creature skills are Corpse Spiders, Plague of Toads, Fire Bath, Locust Swarm, Hex, and Piranha. Basically, Spider Queen and the other skills give it a lot of damage. And then finally, Wizard, Lyra's Amazing Arcana. Arcana gains effective every run. Arcana stacks are also increase your attack speed, armor, and resistance by 1%. I thought it's stacked. You gain 1 Arcana stack when you hit with an Arcana ability, and Arcana stacks and reduce damage taken by 0.15%. and have their damage bonus increased to 100%. So this is definitely one that you're going to want something if you're using virus. I know it was the virus and what's the other one? I forget the name. I think it starts with a T. I know it's been used like partial set with Firebird or the other set. Um, that the basically virus is you have a cooldown, so the Soul Shard with cooldown is going to be your best bet at the time. But I'm going along again. All right, so let's go some things here, right? I'm gonna go through all this. This is from season 25, so a lot of the stuff is not totally accurate. We happen to know, I think at the top. Soul Shards can be used in columns to spare. Recipe instead of a regular legendary gem. As a base drop, they're equal to level 50 legendary gem. So what that means when it's level 0, not upgraded, you haven't found an Emperor, Hellforged Ember yet. At level 0, the one you find that drops is worth a 50 columns to spare, and upgraded by 25 levels per rank, i.e., well, I'm going to read all that. Basically, so level 1 will give you 75%, 75, level 75 columns to spare. A level 2 would be 100 level columns to spare, and at rank 3, it's going to give you 125 columns to spare. Soul Charge can't be traded. It's only seasonal. I was looking to see. I know somewhere. Hitting mechanic. Then we'll talk about the other salvage thing that they turn into. So Act 1 is Essence of Anguish. It says 25% drop. I think it's a 100% drop for any album that's only has one soul shard that can drop. I think at season 25 this was 25%, and then at season 30 they made it. I think I believe it's a 100% drop chance. If not, it's 50% or something like that. But I believe if it only drops one sample, this is going to drop. Any Act 1 boss is going to drop the Essence of Anguish. I'm pretty sure because it's only dropping one item that it's 100% chance. Act 2, Drag of Wise. Once again, it's one item. It's going to drop 100%. Act 3, this is where it drops two. You get the Stain of Sin and Fragment of Destruction, right? So this is where there's a, basically, you have a 50% chance, right? You have a 50% chance to get both, or the other 50% chance is you get none. You get nothing. So this is the weird one. And, of course, in the game, 50%, it could be 10%, or you could get them all the time. It depends on your RNG. So either you get both of these from an Act 3 boss, or you get nothing. Oh, I want to mention Act 2. Once again, when it says all bosses in Act 2, it excludes Vidian, because once again, he was added later. But Soul Charge came later. I'm surprised. I believe Vidian came before season 25. I can't remember. I believe so, because it's been a few years now. Season 25 wasn't that long ago. Act 4, you get Remnant of Pain and Silver of Terror once again, because you have a chance to get two, one of each one. That it's either you get it or you don't. Either you get both or you get nothing. It's not like you get one or the other. No, you get nothing. And then Act 5, Shard of Hatred, once again, this is only one that can drop, so it's 100% chance. I think originally it was 50% chance. That's why I think if it's not guaranteed, it's 50%. These are also normal bosses, right? The named bosses that you go through town on a portal. Remember, there's some you have to go through a level to find some other boss, but I think they're considered elites now. Like what is it with I can't remember. It's a Shadow Realm one, for example. There's a boss in there, but I think it's considered an elite now, so it won't drop any. Originally when this came out, there's a whole thing that if you ran the story mode, those bosses were guaranteed 100%. And I think after that they changed that, so they're always guaranteed to give you one. This is leveling. They don't tell you, but basically, um, the Health Forge Ember is like 6 times chance higher to get than a Ramani's gift. Ramaladi's gift. So however long it takes to get one of those, you should get 6 of the embers. And of course, like me, I'll probably get 20 of these before I even get one Ramani's. That's the only thing that stops me in season, which goes back to the leveling. We'll talk about leveling guide here in a minute. That if you want to use your cash or save it, to me, you need a Scream and Ramani's gift. Screams are not that hard to get if you're able to do higher torment levels and greater rifts. Which normally after the first day you can. You can do C16 or higher, which is GR 75. But you need to do 90s for, I guess, the best efficiency. So I was looking at, they have a base power. It's not here. At rank 1, basically you have a percent roll on damage, you get crit chance, elite, life per hit, and Thor's damage. I believe you get all of these, but I think some characters can't get Thorns damage because they don't have Thorns. But if they have Thorns damage, they can use it. So I know Demon Hunter has Thorns, and obviously Crusader has Thorns. Then Helmet, you get life percent, cooldown reduction, reduced cost reduction, gold fine, and experience. This is where I'm bringing to another caveat. So the Soul Shard, so example, this is at rank 1, will give you 41 to 50% experience. Soul Shards do not work. Broken Crown and Lyric Crown will not use whatever's here for a calculation. They're incompatible. Be aware that Lyric Crown, which is 75 to 100% increase item of your gem, or Broken Crown, which whenever a gem drops a gem of that type, socket it into your helm. So if it's on a follower, it's within your helm. This effect does not apply to legendary gems. And so obviously the Soul Shard is kind of like a legendary gem, so it does emanate. So it is not beneficial, example, level 1 or level 0, unless you want that skill power. It's better to have the lyrics and then put a ruby in, because you have a chance to almost double rate on lyrics crown. 75 to 100% increased percent. Rank 2 does more stuff. So there's a thing at level 1. You see, we have damage and stuff. 2 attack speed, damage, crit hit, element, armor. There's something with a follower because I want to say it's level 1. It's not level 0. Level 0 is just the base power, and then 1 and 2 increases your basically it's the same as putting it's better than a Flawless Royal in your helm, but you get like all 5 gems in it at the same time, so it can increase your main stat. And I think the one might be a random roll, what main stat it gives you. It's not based on your class. So you could get strength, you could get vitality, you could get, because vitality is considered a main stat now. Dex, whatever. So, for example, if I'm using Templar, I'm hoping to get strength on. So you could use a helm or a soul shard in a helm on your follower, and it will get that benefit. But the power, at rank 0 and the power at rank 3 will not be usable by the follower. It's like a lot of stuff that emanates to you, but it doesn't say emanate, so, well, at least we don't. In previous season, it didn't. so it doesn't work on them. You're just using it for the extra, stat rolls. Samples actually, if there's a cooldown reduction, that means they can use your skills quicker. So on this one, a helmet, I would want to have that for cooldown. And then a weapon, of course, damage and stuff like that. And I want to say, what's that would do it here? Oh, right here, helmet. You have to any main stat. I think this is a random roll. And then you get this to all resist, then you get this for armor, you get this for melee damage reduction, and this 15 to 20% range damage reduction. I believe you get all of these. It's just main stat. It's going to be the 4 different main stats, right? Dex, strength, and or vitality. Because they don't list vitality separate, I'm pretty sure they still count it as a main stat. I can't remember in previous seasons, and I don't know when it changed. When the Guardian set was introduced, they considered a main stat, or it could have always been for a while, I just didn't know it. I consider that a secondary vitality. Remember, vitality helps with health, but does not mean you have more health. Or you're more immune, I should say. You do have more health, but they can get past that. Got going through it, but I was looking. It tells you when you salvage. That's what I was just looking for. It's not that one. Well, let's go to resources and over here, soul shards. I'm pretty sure I was in it though. If not, I know Death Set has it. It was buried. I think it was at the top. Reading. Oh, here it is. Soul shards can be salvaged into 3 random gems of marquee or imperial quality, with a minor chance to give 1 flawless royal gem instead. What this means, oh, the game is there. I already have it. So if it gives you a marquee diamond, it's going to give you 3 marquee diamonds, for example. It's not going to give you, 1 yellow, 1 red, and 1 white. I mean, that's per soul shard. I mean, multiple soul shards obviously give different results, but this one sample, say it gives me a marquee diamond, I'm getting 3. If the next one I salvage gives me a marquee ruby, I'm going to get 3. I don't have that here. Which brings up to the next point. That leveling, do you have a faster leveling with this? Because remember, with the altar, you want to steal from your follower. For example, maybe I should fire him. Right, when you first start the game, whatever class you're using, you're going to go to Templar. It already doesn't have it. You're going to steal his main hand and his shield. You're going to keep, depends what class you are, I guess, because it's a spear. So Necros will want the spear, even though it doesn't have ent on it. It's just damage. No, the level just has damage. Right, you're going to salvage the shield, and you're going to go to your scoundrel, and you're going to steal his weapon. I'm not here because it's prisoner point here. It'd be a white item. He has a bow, so if you're a demon hunter, you probably want his bow. Remember, your bow, if you're a demon hunter, you can, or whatever class, you normally can't salvage. I think Necro might be able to. I can't. One of them, I think you can, because this is staff or something. Where all these are considered like craftable items or something that you cannot salvage your own, but you can salvage samples. So you will steal the bow from the scoundrel, the main weapon, and the shield. You're going to salvage the shield and the bow. You're going to keep the main hand. It depends on your class, but example, if I was, not a demon hunter, that's the only thing the only one that keeps the bow. If that's the case, I would keep the bow and demon hunter and salvage the main hand and shield from the Templar. If you're doing this, most people, if you're playing, example, a Necro, do not even talk to the entrances. I don't know if they hover over, but you cannot talk to her, because what happens at level 11, if you do not talk to your follower, their item will upgrade. This is a level 11 item. I think one of them is level 8. But you see minimum damage. That sucks when it upgraded. But my enchantress over here, it's random rolls, but see, has 30 to 44% damage. That's like 30 DPS higher. This one happens to have primary of +2 intelligence, so if I was a necro, it'd be good, or a wizard. It has a range between 1 and 8 for intelligence, so that's good for you. It could be vitality, it could be something else, cooldown. I don't know, it could be something else on primary. I'm trying to think if I've seen it before. The secondary, like health globes give, additional health or something. I can't remember because this is a level 11 a level 11 item. However, since I have already done this, the altar to give it a diamond. Was it? Is it a flawless diamond? Not flawless, but a flawless diamond. That it's rank 2. And then you have to give it 15 blue mats and 10 white mats. For example, the first one for the node for kill streak is 10 white mats, which those 2 items would be enough. You can't salvage your item for some reason. And sometimes with that, I'll keep it. I mean, it depends on the follower I'm using. For example, I think example follows a demon hunter. I can give, since I can't salvage it, and it's only worth I think 2 gold. That I might give it to my scoundrel. But normally I'm using Templar. Let me see, what's the sell cost? Yeah, this one's 3 gold. 3 gold. Maybe it's Templar, something like 2 gold. But it's 2 gold for each item. It's not worth selling it. But what I was trying to say, when you level for a faster start, you use your challenge with cash, or if you're in a group, one of you does and crafts items for the other player. But you're gonna, which gives you 5.1 million gold, 35 death breaths, bunch of bounty mats, everything but Forgotten Souls for some reason. So you have a fast start. Then you can go run to get the cube. Once you get the cube, you can craft your level 70 item. Once you upgrade your blacksmith to level 12, you craft whatever weapon. It depends on the class, whether it's a two-handed axe or, for example, I know with necros, you're gonna do a one-handed spear, not spear. The Crusaders are flails. What is it? I have to look now. Which will give you a point on leaderboards. Hopefully it tells you. So season 30, it happened to be there. Solo Necro. This was the top. Sometimes these load, sometimes they don't. I know he loaded earlier. Basically, I was looking at funeral pick. Siphon Blood gains 2 additional targets. This one doesn't have Iron Rose. I believe 3 Blood Nova. Oh, this is unit Arathma. I gotta look at Jaguars. Attacking with 7 Blood has a 10% chance to grant a free Blood Nova. So you have the Funeral pick with Siphon Blood, which is your main skill. Siphon Blood from 2 additional targets. I believe it's 3 then. You have additional. It's 2 additional on top of your original. And they do more damage. And then that has a chance to give you a free Blood Nova, which basically just wipes them out. And it has obviously 400% increased damage for every enemy within 25 yards, up to 10 enemies. So obviously, if you have more than that, we keep casting Siphon Blood, and your Blood Nova keeps going off without having you to cast it, which uses whatever your primary resource is. See, they have poison, so I doubt they're going to put poison on it. Let's go to Crusader. I hate this. I know the top one worked before, so it doesn't like that person. Damage. Can't remember how to go to Valor or not. All right, here they roll poison damage, for example, and they're using Essence of Anguish, which obviously you see the both skills at the bottom when you do poison damage. Every time you do poison damage, they roll poison. Where Necro, like I said, has skills that has poison, so I don't think they need to roll it. There's one, I think it was a barb or something using cold, so they had to roll cold on it, so the weapon's doing cold damage, and then I can't remember if skill use it or not, but I think they weren't worried about it without finding it again. So basically, my point is that to get soul shards, the fastest and easy one to get to Drag of Wise is this Zootencool. You're just gonna go to town, Act 2, Zootencool, you'll spawn there. I have stuff out, so I'm not fighting them. His battle's right here. It's the fastest one to go to. Go in and get Zootencool. Since he's not a boss bounty, you will defeating the boss will give you the Dragon Wise, right? The Soul Shard. Not the Ember, the Soul Shard. If you happen to be a boss bounty, you know, when the boss gets defeated, it gives you some random gear. The bonus chest will give you more gear, which is nice to use for salvaging. If it's not better at your low level, example, I would say find what I can to get back my. If I'm using a follower, if I'm grouped, it doesn't matter. But if I have a follower with me, to give them back their weapon and offhand, if I can. Because normally after by level 8 you get a shield, I believe, Crusader. But the other classes might not. Like Demon Hunter doesn't get shields, at least last I remember. But either way, I was saying that they can salvage the items you don't need, the blues, the whites. At low level, you're not getting much yellows. So you can do node 2, which is 35 blues, 10 whites, and then of course you need a diamond. And now let's forget what they call it because I already did it. It won't tell me. Oh, I just should have went to there. Been faster. Not faster, but quicker. I guess this wasn't too bad. You have to get him to level 2. And then the diamond, let's go all. I always forget which one. It's Flawless Diamond, which at level 18 you have a chance to get a regular diamond. And then you need 2 of them to make a Flawless Diamond, which costs 2,500 gold. So here's the next point, a living trick. So you're gonna get, regardless if you need the Soul Shard or not, if you do, keep one, because you don't have embers to your 70 anyways, you can't upgrade it. Salvage it, right? Because you can't use Calm Despair yet either, right? You're not level 70, you don't have the mass and stuff to do it. That if it gives you 3, example, it's going to give you 3 of either Marquis or Imperial. 3 of them, for example, say one's 10,000, so 3 of them are a little over 30,000, right? Imperial is 30,000 for 1, which is equivalent to 3 of those, which makes sense because 3 of these make 1 of these, plus gold, right? What makes an Imperial? 200k. So it costs 200k to upgrade this to this, but you're only selling it for 30k. Good old Blizzard. Or D3 team, I should say, because it's technically it was an Activision or whatever. So you have a chance, like I said, to get 3, whatever color gem. I'm just using diamond as an example. If I get 3 Marquis diamond, right, or I'm going to get 3 Imperial diamond, that's 90k. If I happen to get a Flawless Royal, that's 816k. Well, let me show you something interesting. The blacksmith. So this is what the upgrade costs are. I'm pretty sure it's pretty accurate. Because a lot of people were saying you need tome of crafting or blacksmithing or something, and this one doesn't have it. I do know it changed from 2 death breaths down to 1 at level 11. 12 just needed a lot of gold. I could swear it went to level 12, and well, I know one of them is level 10 instead, and then the last 2 are just gold. So it's going to cost you is to upgrade the blacksmith so you can craft your level 70 yellow item, right? You're going to craft the weapon, right? You don't have to worry about doing level 60, level reduced, but still, level 60 is probably, I'm guessing, level 10. But either way, it's going to cost you 311k gold and 1 death breath. So remember, to get death breath, you don't get death breath till level 61. However, in season only, you have obviously echoing nightmares and you have visions, right? Let's get the full name of it. That the vision just go out to any act and start killing things, and then eventually it will pop. What number you need to kill is whatever decides it before it pops. You will get a vision. Elites have a chance below level 61, so even at level 1, I've got one at level 1. I mean, I think it might be hitting 2 or 3 at the time, but that they drop a death breath. There's a chance to drop a death breath, right? It's not guaranteed. And obviously, the higher level you get, the more chance it will drop. And of course, in visions, there's a level with there's 3 Rift Guardians and 1 vision level. There's a chance to get it, or multiple chances, depends how deep it is, that they have a chance to drop a greater Rift key. You're going to only one. Each one of them has a chance, but normally I get 1 out of the 3, or I get none at lower level. But if there's multiple or down lower layer, I get 1 again. Because remember, the deeper you go in a vision, I think the deepest level is 12. It gets like better and better quality loot, and you have a chance if you unlock primal to get a primal. That's why people run visions, because there's a higher chance for a primal, or what they say is a better chance to get a primal than doing regular stuff. Then embers, just so we're on the subject. Once you're level 70, you can drop from anything: chests, vases, bosses, rift guardians, whatever. From my understanding, they can drop from regular normal monsters as long as you're level 70. I think the game might be 70 in case you're doing something weird when you're leveling something on a lower torment, or their level versus level 70 if you're level 70. I just say the game and you have to be at least level 70. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. But so what I'm saying here, you need 311k gold. If you're not using your cash, we'll give you 5.1 million gold. I did the calculations here. So here, if I get a marquee, remember it could be random. Like this soul shard could be a marquee. The next one could be an imperial. Hopefully, you're getting a flawless royal, which will solve your money problems right off the bat. But if not, I have to run 10, right? Because each time each soul shard gives me 3, it will give me 302k gold. Not enough, right? Unless you happen to like doing bounties or something and get some extra gold. So you need to run a minimum of 11. And if you salvage all that, if you want a soul shard to use in your helm, because at level 8, for example, theirs can drop. If you gamble Kadala, it'd be a level 16 without the level reduced stuff, but it's guaranteed to have a socket to put it in there for that power. You need to run 11. If it's Imperial, so 3 of them will give you 272k, not enough. So times 4, you run a minimum of 4, you get 362k, which is enough to upgrade your blacksmith to level 12. Or any other ones. You have to keep this multiple times if you want to upgrade all your other artisans, right? But like I said, if you happen to get a flawless royal, it's 816 gold, K gold. That you're good. You can up a couple artisans, or whatever else you want to do. I'm just showing you, this one's times 3, 2.4 million. But see, there's no difference between the different, they call them normal gems, solid color, what you want to call it. These are gems where like these are called legendary gems, like being the powerful, being the trapped. So you're hoping, what they're saying you're hoping for is a flawless royal ruby. One for your weapon, because weapon gives you plus 200% damage, and the helmet, you need another one for your helmet for 41% experience. And then, like I said, if you happen to get this crown, you see by, even though it's level 1, you see that plus 20 strength. This is a low level helm. So even I'm showing you at low level, it's still 75 to 100% it can roll for the increasing the effect of the gem. Remember, this does not affect the a soul shard, right? It says any gem. It says any gem, but it should say like salva color or regular gem. Depends how you want to say it. So this will be more beneficial at low level to have a ruby in your helm and hopefully get works. Remember, you can level 1 gamble with Kadala and it'd be level 16 though. So then you need to put it in the cube. So you run the Cesseron. Hope you guys know how to do all that stuff by now. You go to Act 3. I think it's 3, it might be 2. I always forget. I think it's 3. Yeah, run the Cesseron, Act 3. You're going to go to run the Cesseron. You're not going to go, when you go here, you're not going to go immediately back. The zone right behind you, you can't see. This is the zone that technically led to here. So you're not going to your Eternal Woods. You're going to zoom out, find whatever. It could be right here, but a long, windy path. I always try to go left to see if it's a shortcut through, because it could be to the right also. If it's to the right, there's no shortcut. Well, it might be multiple ways to get there, but it always backtracks to one area, to the next zone, then to end the next zone. It's where the king, is it Mad King is? I don't know if it's technically a lyric or not. There's an event for it. But don't, it's not in there. It's right past that, like a little cave. You think you'll find it before that, but it's not. You have to keep going further down, and then it has a book, and then you have your cube. Let's go back one. So I'm just saying with that. So some other things you can use for level. So obviously that's going to help you level if you're not using the cast. If you're using the cast, there's normal strategies. Do it. You have enough to upgrade your blacksmith to level 12, craft the other level 70 weapon, and then you're going to run down here. You're going to go to page 6, I believe. Legacy of Hope. Page 4. Page 3, Hope of Cain. So you need a craftable 70 sample because you have to have level 70 weapon or item, 25 death breaths, and then 50 of the different mats. I just want to show you in case, hey, if you're like me at low level, you might not have as many yellow mats as you do the other one. Remember, it's not beneficial to go craft a yellow 70 and do this, even though it could be a lower level, because you're just going to salvage it, right? You're using yellow to make a yellow, right? So it doesn't matter. And if it's blue item, like at low level, like weapons, you have a two-handed axe, for example. There's a low level one. If it's not yellow, it won't give you yellow. So this one won't give you a yellow. So this one's going to cost me 5 Veil crystals. And it's going to salvage back into probably 1 of each, regardless of how many they cost here. It might be 2 on the other ones, but so it's not worth it. So what you can do though is, for example, I want to make a yellow. Go to a merchant, buy them. If you have the money, which is easier, just buy any item that's yellow. You can buy multiple if you need it multiple times. For example, I'll try to find one that's cheapest because the salvage will be the same regardless of what level or how high it is. It's going to give you, here, I'm going to go here. For example, what was my highest? Reusable. So Arcane Dust, that was my highest one. So it'll help bring it down. Go down to the other page. We're going to convert, not Veil crystals, we're going to convert Arcane Dust. You need 1 death breath, so doing your vision. You need Arcane Dust times 100, that's for 1 time. And then 1 of the following. Am I converting blue into white or a yellow? I'm converting into a yellow, so I need a yellow item. So I can hit fill, and all I need to do is put what item it is, and then you'll see then it's going to give me, see, 378, this is 922, 478, 822. So take 100 of this and convert it into this. And do that as many times or the different ones to get your dual crystal. Example, if these would be even, next time I'll probably take, I'll probably convert reusable with a yellow to get more 100 yellow, and then do it again. That'll make it, what, 7, 7, then make it up to 678. So it'll be close again. Because you always need more yellows than you do. Well, that lower one is actually pretty cheaper than the other one. But level 70 item is costly. So that's 100. Tails making a weapon. I only have one. Flail. That's what I meant earlier. You, a flail can give you your dark light. A one-handed flail, and a two-handed is the other item you can put in the cube, but normally you want the one-handed flail now. So I think it's just called flail. And we'll crap. If you have level 1 reduced, it's always sovereign. And Jules is called something else, but most of them are sovereign. Because even though it says require level 1, you can kind of think this is like level 5, 8, 12, 15, 18, 21, or whatever the levels happen to be. I know around here, this would be level 60, 61. This one might be 50, 58. I can't remember. It's going to be sovereign in case you don't remember. Any of them is going to be sovereign. If the one here happens to be a plant I got from doing bounties. So we craft the level 70 just to show you. Oh, either way, the cost I was trying to show you is 15 yellows and 15 of the other two mats. So yeah, it gets expensive. 14, 15, 15. So level 70. Right. And then this is where you do Hope Cane. And whatever happens to be, not the one I want. Concentration's not bad for the level though. And it might be accepted or not, you got if your item. Alright. And then I want to show you that if you want to do visions, Crusader is good for getting these bovine Berduccis, I always forget the name of it, that it gives you not the cattle level, which is the secret cattle level. You do that map, you don't have to defeat everything. As soon as the vision pops, you go do it. And when you're done, right, a vision will close when you get the goblin chest. And then you might have to go back to town. So luckily when you do bovine Berducci, it's a red portal in town, just like it works the same way. I'm not going to do it. Hit transmute. Do not hit a example on page here. I would probably close this, redo it so I'm not on a page, and pop it in. Because if I was on example that one and I do it, oh, it does do it. I know on one, be careful on extraction. Reason why I say that is like on a puzzle ring. I happen to have an ancient puzzle ring, which I need a farm for the journey. That if you're on a page, example on the extraction page, that there's always a chance. Basically, if I hit fill, I don't know if it would work without hitting fill. I know people have accidentally put it in a cube as here, because you'll see I don't have puzzle ring. What they're called, puzzle ring. Right there. I'm never going to extract a puzzle ring because after picking up 12 items, he drops a rare item, the chance for a legendary. I normally don't get a legendary. With legendaries are the orange ones, right? And then, of course, later on, I could always have a chance to be ancient. I'm pretty sure they face it so it can't be ancient. It definitely won't be primal. I can't remember if it can or cannot be. I just know I always get up getting a yellow or another blue. Normal quality, which is whites, by the way. Normal quality is white. I don't know why they had different names for different things, but normal quality does not mean it's going to pick up yellows and blues and salvage, because salvage them automatically, and then after he hits the magic number here, he poops it out. Yeah, it could be between 12 and 16. So honestly, most people probably get the 16, so you need to pick up 16 whites before it poops out one, and might not even be legendary. So I was showing you. So the way people, in case people were wondering, I'm trying to wrap this up. Yeah. The way the the soul shards work. For example, you get at rank 3, it's going to be at 125 columns to spare. If you go to augment ancient item, you need a rank 30 gem if you want to put on a weapon. I'm showing this here. It has to be ancient or primal. It cannot be a regular item like this. It has to be ancient. See how the glow is different. So on this weapon, I need a level 30 gem at least. Whatever gem level it is, or the columns, is the Whisper of Atonement. I don't have one to show, but it would be the level of the gem. So this is level, example here, 56, right? Whisper, I have a 56 level Atonement. It will be a level 56 columns to spare, which obviously each level increases the stat, right? And what stat it gets is based on the gem. Example, I would want Topaz because see how it says other intelligence? Always go by other. I think whites doesn't work. It doesn't list it. So for example, a ruby is going to give me strength. A topaz will give me intelligence. The green will give you, I don't have one here, but it'll give you dexterity. And the purple will give you vitality. The all resist, which a lot of people will probably want, it's probably game breaking to increase your all resist. So you can't use a white. So you need 3 of a gem. Notice you can't hit fill, even though I have items in my inventory. It doesn't matter if I hit just that or not. And do that and hit transmute. Example, so this will be a level 30. Now if I was doing this example on an item, I happen to have a sage that was ancient. A ring is level 40 plus gem, and a piece of armor, right? I think offhand's weapon, right? And then rings and amulets are 40. And then gear pieces, the other gear pieces, be rank 50. So this will say it can't work. I can even do it. Legendary gem rank is too low. I don't want to do it, but it's not supposed to say you have this one. Right? The soul shard that you use, same as using a whisper, would work. No, I probably wouldn't want that one. I don't know if people want to slow me doing this or not, because I just Crusaders doesn't use furnace. If they do, it's in the cube, because we want 2 items. In an offhand, the main weapon. It just breaks it too much. But that's all you do. That's for people who say, how do you do it? Okay, I did it. So now you see, since I was level 56, it's a what? Others intelligence. Why am I thinking Crusader? Their strength. I did the wrong one. Okay, here's a point. Look at the other. The Topaz was intelligence. I needed a ruby, which is strength, because obviously my main stat is strength for a Crusader. So I definitely screwed that up. Lesson learned. And then once again, same thing that works. Put a puzzle ring in, not on a page. I just be safe, like I said, and do it. A regular puzzle ring will give you the vault. An ancient, or which is that's what this is, or a primal, both give you an ancient vault. Primal does not give you anything more than the ancient one does. However, the ancient, the difference between ancient and regular puzzle ring is that there's more goblins in it, so more loot, more gems, whatever, more chance for forgotten souls and death breaths, right? I think the enemies are about the same. It's just there's more goblins and they're out. They're not. I don't want to waste this because if I want to finish this, I need it for the season journey. There's more goblins out. And there might be a couple hidden in a gold pile. Like towards the end, there's usually not a goblin. Towards the end, like that last part of the staircase, I've seen them in those gold piles before. It could have just been out and how we hit things. It looked like they're in a gold pile. It could have been right next to it. I know when you do a regular one, the 2 piles right at the beginning, when it has the first S bend, there's some hidden in the gold pile, right? Because they're looting the gold, right? So they're hiding inside of it. So that's it. And then, of course, the same way it works when you get a petrified scream. You go in, you hit transmute, you get a portal here. You go into it. So the things, and then you do however high you can get. as soon as you open the chest, you have, was it 30 seconds to get out because it's going to close. The vault's going to close. I think you have a minute. If not, it's 30 seconds. I can never remember. Each one has their own timer. The bovine Berducci does not have a time limit, that you can do as much as you want, even when you, because people say, well, let's kill the was it the king? The queen's is out. The king has a bunch of chests. It does not close when you loot. It stays open. You have to create a new game. It's going to do another bovine. And then, of course, if you're in Act 1, if you're doing Ubers, since some people don't know about this, that you go, example, in Act 1, look for the one key wardens, right? You go there. I didn't want to go there. Go there, go there. The purple icon, which is happening to show right there, I'll show you where the key warden is. Sometimes it doesn't show you right away, like on Stone Fort, you have to get closer before it shows you. But normally, if you have a bounty there, let's go to another one. Let's see another one that, example, has a key here. And because it's not done, the key's there. If it's not, it has a green check on it, just like how bosses are if they're done. Example, see, I have a yellow icon, a arrow, and a purple. The purple is the boss bounty, or the key warden, and the yellow is the bounty for this. And remember, when you do it, there could be other bounties in here. That's not the main one for the bounty cache. Let's see. Is 3 gonna be nice? Yeah, so this one, you see, it's not showing me. Even if I walk up a little bit, I don't have everything on right now. Okay, now it finally showed. Sometimes you have to get a lot closer. Oh, he's towards the middle. If he was towards the end, you have to get to the middle, I think, before it shows you the end. Not to go down in here. That's another way to get here, which is going from town, if you ever play campaign. So let's go back to Act 1. I said Act 1. So I was trying to show you. So once you get the key wardens, you get keys. They don't go in your image. Don't go in this. I don't know if I have any. It'll be always be in my stash one, because all my, I started playing, so see, this is all kind of junk. This might go in the cube. Down in cache. Oh. Ooh, I have 2 puzzle rings. I'll buy it. Oh, Ring Royal Grande, never mind. That once you get those, you come in here. Just hit it with something. I just clicked on it. And then you go to inventory, you have like a, let's say, every key, like key of regret or something. You just right click it to spawn portals. And then those close after you defeat, like each one of them has at least 2 bosses in it. Like it'll be Skeleton, King, and Magda, for example. It's the one. And then the last one, in case you never did it, you fight Diablo, and he cheats, and he has like 3 enemies that he spawns. There's an achievement for like the Soul Reaper of Souls, or Soul Reaper, or something like that. A Soul of Hatred. I don't know what it's called, but he has like 5 different. I can't remember the number. There's like 5 different ones he can spawn in, but it's 3. And it's the other Ubers are fighting here, but they're based off of their bosses, but they're more powerful. And obviously, they're more powerful the higher tournament you are. So T16 is the highest you can go. That's the toughest enemies. And then, like, fighting Magna the Apple, she uses the same thing. We fight her in Act 2, where she has that homing, I don't know if it's a skull or some type of missile thing. And sometimes it stays after you defeat them, and you have to watch out. For example, if you're in hardcore, that you don't get hit by it, because sometimes you don't take damage after they're defeated. If they were still alive, you would. And sometimes you take damage when they're defeated. You never know. And those give you 1 hit. Depends on your toughness, right? I think that's it. So basically, the gems, salvaging a soul shard. which you go to the blacksmith, in case I didn't mention it, you hit salvage, you click the salvage button because it's not a colored, so it's not white, blue, or yellow. So you hit the salvage, and then sample, it'd be like this. You hit this left click salvage and hit OK, and then it will give you whatever it wanted to give you. Right? And there's a way to do it. If you hit enter, you don't have to hit to confirm, but that's how you spam click. Here, let me find one. Put this stuff away. I can go somewhere else. I can do this to combine them, but yeah, so floor. To get that one. And technically it's one of these over here. That goes back in there. Doesn't matter which one I put it in. Just so I may scroll back. Because some people ask. I probably needed that for the journey too. Swift mouse is what you normally use to increase speed charge if you don't have the grain, so I'll probably keep that. Whatever, that's from the Dawn Cache. Right, you can hit salvage, then I left click enter, in case people didn't know that. But remember, this, you cannot take it back. So if you accidentally click one, right click or say no, if you hit enter, you're screwed. Don't think, because people say, oh, I messed up, I want to do a count rollback. It does not roll back. Anything you deleted or salvage on your own, it's for in case something went missing. You tell them, so a support ticket, and they'll tell you to roll back. Example, say there was a bug, for example, when you used the armory years ago, that I didn't even have one saved. Sample, whatever I save this. This is Valor start or something. I don't know. That if you had multiple and you load or equip, that sometimes sample here is saying it's missing an item. So this one will say it's missing this. Well, if I salvaged it, it ain't gonna come back, and the rollback won't work. However, where the bug was, if you're using an item with a different character, for example, this level, not this one, but say this one, this is level 72. Could go swiftness. Maybe my barb needed it or something. I use my barb, and I put it back in my stash. Well, sometimes it doesn't see it or it disappeared. That you had to roll back data back. If it was level 30, I wouldn't even bother. I'll just make a new one, right? If you don't have one, it's not on you, your stash, or your inventory, right? Your gear, your inventory, or in the stash somewhere. When you do another Greater Rift, you'll get it. Now, if you have other ones you didn't get yet, example, there's 22 legendary gems. 23. The 23rd one is the red ruby during Dark and Tristram, right? We fight that. Is it another Diablo or whatever he is? You have 23. But other than that, you have 20. Example, this one wouldn't count. So normally I do this, line them up. It's not organized right now. So if I had these, for example, there's 10, so say 20, that's 19, 20, 21, 22. So I have them all accounted for. But some people say, yeah, I can do this, drop it in town. I can go do a Greater Rift now, and then I'll get the all agitation. Because it won't count on another character you have, right? Especially different game mode. If it's not on my gear, my inventory, or in my stash in somewhere, I'll get it. Now, if I was missing two of them, I'm getting one of the two, but I don't know which two I'm getting. Why is that one not showing? There. Oh, yeah, I forgot I did that earlier, hitting all windows. So just in case people say, and then how do you do this? Might as well, or taking too long. Example here, just right click and then pick where you want to be. You can name it whatever. You can't name it, but you can show whatever picture. Remember, some were added later, like Necro was added last. It's just easy. Example here, this tells me, hey, this is how I label it. that could be gold or whatever. This tells me it's items I cannot use. Eventually, I'll probably salvage it. But, for example, oh, I'm planning on Demon Hunter. Look, I have Marauder boots already, and I have a level 70. I can tell by the damage on it. Bow, which I can use for Hoboken. I would not do Hoboken on the Crusader, because I'm not sure how it would work. Because Crusaders can't use bow. But say I could, say with something else, like a sword or a dagger. It's going to make it basically strength, right? The Crusader strength. So sometimes people do that level 70 Hoboken to give your follower what they need. Example, because of how skills work. Um, life based, yeah, how much life it gives back is based on the temper strength and shielding you from all damage. It's back based on Templar strength. Example, they all have that. So obviously a Templar strength and transference would be int. It's weird how it has all these, but you see it's higher here. Primary adventurous attribute, increased damage, all resist. Intelligence item bonus are multiplied by 2.5 for followers. So you look at this high, and that's what we're talking about. Is we're going to end this. The legendary gem that gives you main stat, if it happens to be example on this one, int, I'll put on her. If it has strength, I'll put on the Templar. If it's dex, I'll put on the scoundrel. If it's one I don't need. And of course, like I said, you might need one. Tell you what axes to go to. So remember, it's a hidden mechanic. They don't tell you. They tell you bosses. They don't tell you what bosses get what. For example, so a lot of it, Dragon Wise, I think that's what it's called, is Act 2. Any of them Act 2, except for Vivian, which is, I think, Act 2. Um, but something cool happens to be you give a portal right to them. Yeah, Shredded Moors is Vivian. It's not on a bounty. So it's a long way. So you have to go through 2 zones, plus this little blood ritual, and it's a pain. I'm glad it's not part of the 20 minutes for that. Um, so that's it. I showed you more than I needed to. But I just want to make sure you understand this is going to be a good season. I believe, I can't remember, I don't know if I should say it or not. I want to say the last time we did this, I can't remember what season it was. We had a Paragon cap because I was watching my video, which also was to, I believe it was, you can only get 800 Paragon. I think it was also season 30. So hopefully, because sometimes they do that. Example, what was the one we held the altar plus shadow clones or something? I can't remember. I think altar had the 4th power or something. Plus we had shadow clones. So anytime you hit a shrine, you had shadow clones for X amount of time, X amount of seconds. There's like a couple of them together. Like either one individually was not that great, but you notice ethereals, sanctified items. This one, I hate the last one, or this season was Kill Streak. It was the only thing with it. It'd be nice. Maybe this one does have shadows. I don't know. I don't pay too much attention. That's why I really haven't played this season that much because, as you see here, I show you. I already have everything in the verify example. The pet for me, it was towards the bottom, but I don't know order how you got them or how it worked. So there's the pet. That's your mummy. The other one was portrait frame. It was hard to find. It was towards the bottom too, because it's the only one of that type. Where normally you have different like parts of the journey, like conquer, guardian, that kind of stuff. I wish they would say. Well, that one says conquer. That one says destroyer, champion, slayer. That's the same one. Just doesn't say. And of course, some of these are they're standalones. Like, because you're gonna get a generic one for lesser levels. Right, you're gonna get this one. I think it's part of season journey. You're gonna get the upgraded versions of these. So you see this has this white thing. But then when you do Guardian, you're gonna get this one, which is not it's the only one. It doesn't upgrade. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if you've seen the icon. It doesn't actually show D3. So Shards. It looked white, right? It wasn't that one. Welcome to Snow. Is it this one? Yeah, Heaven. So you see, it's hard to see because it puts a name on it. The leaf changes as you leveled it up. That should be the next one. Guardian, yeah. I'm hoping it doesn't ever say. Unless I hit log. Oh, I don't know if I did on login. I could look, did I? So you see it here. No, I think, yeah, it only says your login if you actually had a login to credentials, what your email password would be. Oh, password's encrypted. Well, it's masked, but you know, I gotta type it out. Yeah, so this is the Rotten Raven. Thanks for watching.